Hello, this is Nelson Muskin and we play it out. And this is chapter 5 for Somebody Like You by Sparky Pastor. Bakugo ignored Zuko after the confrontation. The rest of the students seemed to follow his lead, if a little confused as to why. After all, no one else was there to see Zuko give him the one and only verbal beatdown of his life, minus whatever a Miski would yell at him. But Bakugo always gave as much as he took when he was talking with his mom. So Izuku didn't really count those instances. Izuku was fine with this. He was actually able to have a peaceful school day for once. They just weren't even ignoring him. He didn't think he'd ever be so happy at school. He could literally do whatever he wanted and no one would bother him in the least. That afternoon, Izuku headed to a gym that he found online. It was owned by a man with a weak killing quirk. The gym's website bragged about he was able to heal the members, the tears and muscles of those who purchased a membership. Good thing that the owner had a license for quirk usage. Otherwise, he would simply be giving the police all the information they needed to arrest him for public quirk usage. Otherwise, that would be a really good marketing campaign. By healing the tears in muscles, they can also get stronger faster. So members get the result they want in the fastest period of time, and the holy grail of why this is the best gem. They didn't require course to be disclosed. Izuku didn't think he would ever be lucky to find this. Not only that, but the first 2 weeks were free as a trial period. Even with the owner's quirk, it was unlikely that anyone would get the results they're looking for in that small period of time, so they weren't losing anything out of it either. It was so perfect. It was like fate actually was smiling down on him. That never happened. He surely wasn't going to look at the gift horse in the mouth. Izuku wondered where that saying came from. What was a gift horse anyway? Izuku random thoughts halted as he went through the doors of the gym. It was small, but had everything Izuku could ever want. A couple machines for arms, a couple machines for legs, a couple for abs, and a few treadmills. A few years ago, Izuku had taken it upon himself to learn about computer science. He had finished his self-teaching and was bored. This, of course, had led to him using the few NetSuites to learn how to hack. And when we checked out the website of the gym, he decided to take a look at how busy a place they were. Turns out, not that busy. Their traffic on the website was high because of the perks, but it seemed like people never stayed for very long and never came back. Zuko feared that was probably because, unlike many of the larger gyms, this one did not have a room where they could hone their quirks. That was everything nowadays. No one ever bothered to train their bodies. Why would they when they could simply make their superpowers stronger instead? If it's strong enough, they could cover any and all weaknesses, right? Wrong. But trying to tell the general public that, they certainly won't listen. Izuku should know. He tried to tell his classmate that once in elementary physical agitation, all the kids wanted to do was play around with the quirks, and the teacher at the time were more willing to allow the kids to cite the law said, "Who cares? They're just kids, right? Why should they worry about it being against the law at their age? We should discourage them to see how far they can go in an uncontrollable environment. No one cares they end up hurting each other. The other kids are taking it, well, except maybe not the quirkless kids, but who cares?" Let's just say that the response to saying the body is more important to the quirk was akin to blasphemy when he was walking to the closet for the memory of the school day. He wasn't released by chance either. Supposedly they had forgotten he was even in there and let him out when they opened the door to put something away at the end of the day. When the general opened the door, he looked at Zuko as he had caught a rat in the trap that wasn't dead yet. Oddly enough, even in those closets was the best part of his elementary school experience. Minus him being sure that one day they were going to kill him like the rat he was, the closets were dark and quiet. The small space usually felt much safer than the opening to the classroom. He remembered those times falling when he had to pick a lock, and when he learned to do it, he would even sometimes pick the locks on the closet and hide away from bullies chasing him. With all his practice now, all he needed to do was to flick a wrist to open nearly any lock. He stepped up to the counter and rang the bell. He heard a call from Soren and Bill saying they would be right up. Izuku only waited a few minutes before someone came in front. Wavy blue hair, bright green eyes, shining smile that matched a picture on the website. The owner, Kiri Ishime. Hello, he greeted brightly. How can I help you? I'd like to sign up for membership, Izuku replied. No problem. Let me grab the form, Kishime said, bending down, pulling open the bottom drawer in the final cabinet. Just fill this out and I'll give you a chore. Izuku picked up a pen that was lying on the counter and began to read and fill out the form. It had the standard name, birthday, address, and then underneath that was a normal, make sure you pay the monthly fee or fee as possible, especially from the establishment. Izuku signed his name at the bottom of the paper. Once he set down the pen, Kishime picked up his form, took a quick look to make sure everything was filled out, and then put the paper back in the file in the cabinet. He came around to the front of the desk and stood next to Izuku. Welcome, he exclaimed, to Warna Gym. Kishime threw his arms open wide, showing off the main room. All the cooking you can see is in this room. Every corner works at a different part of the body. It starts with arms over there, and then goes legs, abs, cardios in order, going clockwork. He pointed at each area as he introduced them. In the back is the locker room. It is co-ed, but does have lockable stalls with toilets and showers for members to use if they don't like changing in front of others. We expect all of our members to be respectful. If there's harassment reports at any time, the offensive party will be expelled. That being said, those circles are in there as well. I'll assign you a walker and get you a combination before you leave. He then turned around, pointing at the desk a couple doors behind the desk. That room is my office. If something breaks and I'm not here around, you can find me back there. That other room is storage. It cleans towels, cleans a solution. Feel free to help yourself to anything you need. Any questions so far? No, not right now. Izuku started shaking his head. Great, so what kind of work are you looking for? Kishime asked, looking Izuku over. I'm hoping to just gain a little muscle. I want to get physically strong, but I don't want to be bodybuilder or anything. So I want to stay flexible. I also want to increase my stamina and endurance. Sounds like a plan. What are you already doing? Well, I don't have any equipment at home, so I mostly just do sit-ups, push-ups, and low impact exercises. I also recently started doing yoga. Yoga is a good way to stay flexible. So I would recommend doing that at the end of every workout. I could use my quirk to heal any ripped muscles and would recommend being treated after completing your yoga. With Hishime talk about his quirk, Izuku was waiting for him to ask about his. The website said they don't ask about them, but for British persons, it is equally common to ask about quirk when meeting someone new. It was dumb to know the same thing as asking your name nowadays. Izuku's original plan was just to imply he had a weak quirk until someone asked him directly. But he is starting to believe that wasn't a good idea. He never was a great liar. If someone asked him if quirk would be any probably come up, he'd probably say he was quirkless. But then he wouldn't have a gym he'd be able to use. He would be kicked out. Izuku kept his mind from going to full panic, just waiting for the inevitable, but wondering if any class offered how to be a better liar, and if there weren't, what kind of researches he could look into that would teach him. Well, we'll show you how to use the machines, Kishime said, leading Izuku around the room. He showed them how to use each machine with each sort of lesson. Izuku became less and less convinced he was going to ask him anything about his quirk. It was actually causing a bit of confusion. Okay, now that I'll show you how to use each one, I'm going to have to complete your first routine with my suggestion. How does that sound? Sounds good. Izuku said nervously. He sat down at the rowing machine. Kisame decided to low resistance and Izuku started rowing. After a few adjustments from Kisame as he held himself to prevent injury, Izuku was rowing as he'd done it his entire life. When Namashi first weighed, his arms left like jello. He giggled to himself, just a bit at the way he was walking. Kisame followed him with a knowing smile. Hey, cat, you can go get me some coffee. You don't have to be so mean about it. I'm just asking. It's only one. It's only 1 a.m. You please, please. You said you're the one that said I can't give up on one of own fan fiction. Can you please? I would say I pay you, but I'm actually kind of broke. So really, you're such a doll. Thank you. Just make sure not to slam the door. Okay. I'm going to edit this out. I probably should have told her to remind me. Oh God, I never remember anything. It'll be alright. Izuku read on the treadmill, winding down from his workout. For 10 months, he had come to this gym and he already seen the effect. He was stronger and had more stamina than before. He had taken up to running before school, after school, and whenever he could. Really, he loved running. He never found any other way to get into what clear headspace he had discovered the one time while meditating. At least he hadn't until he started running. He wasn't built like a runner per se, because he was more muscular than that. But he was lean and he had muscles. He could completely see the outline of his abs. He felt accomplished. He had actually achieved something he set his mind to. It had become a cry fighter, feeling so much stronger. Now, that was not to say he was surprised by his results, because he wasn't. It was merely scientific. You work out, you break muscles, they feel stronger than before. Pushers, of course, just make the process faster as well. No, a change that surprised Zuko in the last 2 months was the fact that Inko had made him a bank account. She always claimed that it wasn't needed before. After all, Zuko never made any money and was never allowed to spend any money, so that he never needed one. Zuko also assumed that he was going to have to pay away the cash, his paychecks, and just put the cash somewhere. But with this, he had gained interest on his account. Not a lot, mind you. Baits are in the business of making money, not losing it. So they weren't going to give a customer a lot of interest, but they did give a little. Even a small lump of interest can amount to a lot of money the more you save. So his checks were not directly deposited into the bank each week. Kisame came up to Izuku as he was pounding through everything and happened since he came to the gym. Hey there, Midoriya. How you doing today? He asked. I'm doing good. Just finishing up my workout for the day, Izuku replied. You know, I was wondering if you'd like to make a picture on my website, Kisame said. For what? Izuku asked. You have made such a major progress since you've been here. I know that you're just a small gym, but I was hoping to add a feature to the site to show before and after images of our members. Hoping to drum up some more business. Izuku looked reluctant. Well, I guess I'll be okay with that. He wasn't sure if he actually would be okay with that. Who knows who knows who would see that website? What if someone who knows he was correctly seasoned and ends up destroying the gym? Kisame must have seen he wasn't completely into the idea. Well, maybe we come back to this later. After all, you still have a baby face. Who would believe it's not a Photoshop? Kisame said with a goodwill smile. Izuku blushed. Shut up, I do not have a baby face. Please smile at the response. You know, he said lightly. I know you for 10 months, and even though we don't ask about course here, I've been trying to figure out yours the entire time. I have not been able to be able to think of anything at all it could be. It's gotta be an emitter, right? And this is what Azuko had been dreading the entire time he's been there. There was absolutely no way he was going not to tell him. He'd been studying how to lie for the last 10 months and was still not very good at it. He knew he had to change the way his body and mannerisms were progressed. And he was in a situation in which he wanted to lie, but he didn't have much control of his body. Izuku looked around the room. The only other person in the building right now was a man with a shark quirk lightning weights on the other side of the room. He took out one more second to think about his actions. If he just kept out, at least he could have gotten what he wanted. I'm quirkless. Izumi looked at Izuku in surprise. During his research in Titan, Zuko had learned a lot about body language and signs he was getting from Izuku were non-threatening. His muscles were loose, his head was up, his shoulders were back. Kizumi's smile widened. It reached all the way to his eyes. Wow! Kizumi explained. I guess when your results really are impressive, there've been a lot of pressures made from someone like you. Keep it up. That was both not a expected response and also what he expected. Thanks, he said with a strange smile. Kizumi's smile widening. Gave Izuku a pat on the shoulder and left to go check on the weightlifter. Izuku slowly down his run, shut off the machine. He cleaned it mechanically and he got used to cleaning the machines over and over again after months. It became such a second nature by now. He walked to the locker room, took a shower, got dressed. It was time for school. He took the train. Okay, that was chapter 5. I'll be doing chapter 6 now. Kasi Bakugo walked home one day, months after his competition with Deku. He wasn't paying attention to his surroundings like he normally would. A hero must have a good sense of his surroundings after all, but that wasn't happening today. The words Deku yelled at him had been bouncing around his mind, and it started to interfere with his routine. A feeling inside his comfort told him that he needed to listen to what that freak was saying, but why? It's not like what he said was true or anything, or that he was scared of what he was saying being true. Of course not. Not Katsuki Bakugo. He wasn't scared of anything. He was even scared when that villain, caught up by a villain made out of his sludge, had to fight his way free. Thank goodness that villain was caught him though. It made his job a lot easier with a small amount of water being rolled to blast or of heat and flammable. It may have taken a little bit and being receiving no help from the teams on the scene, but he got out on his own. And if he can beat a villain even licensed heroes can defeat, then of course he was destined to be greatness, to be number 1, to outshine even All Might. So no, he wasn't scared of what Deku said. No siree, not at all. But he was unnerved. Deku had changed recently. It was not unusual for him to fish around the class, but those movements had become defined and repetitive, like he was actually trying to gain something from it. But it's not like Katsuki was paying attention to him or anything, so he doesn't know what the freak was doing, and the other letters never noticed anything. The awareness of the silence was ascensible. So yeah, something had changed, and he didn't know what to think about it. He had also noticed. He had also noticed Deku's gained some muscle and more flexibility during physical activities. He could actually keep up with some of the etchers now instead of falling behind, but everyone he was pretending he wasn't, just as they had since Deku changed his surface saying no, he no longer wanted to try out for a UA. And that didn't just annoy Katsuki to no end for years. Deku had been going on and on about how he was going to be a hero, always following Katsuki like some lost and unwanted dog. And then, all of a sudden, he changes. saying he's not gonna be a hero. But Koski saw the change. Why would Deku suddenly start working out and gaining muscle if he wasn't gonna be a hero? Flipping burgers wouldn't require that type of muscle Deku was putting on. It didn't make sense. None of it made sense. Why was no one seeing what he was seeing? He knew the reason why. Because they didn't have to reflect on what that meant for himself. But Koski wasn't afraid. He knew exactly what it meant. It meant that Deku was trying to trick him. He said he wasn't going to be a hero, but he was going to go show up to the incident just to embarrass Koski. Just to show him just how better he is than Koski. But that's not going to happen. Koski would show him up. When Deku showed up to the incident, Koski would kill him. The feeling in his gut came back, making him feel slightly nauseous. Maybe he ate something that went bad. No, that can't be. Koski made his own meal simply for that reason. He always used the freshest ingredients and prepared them in the exact most nutritious thing for them. There's no way he was feeling sick from eating something bad. Then maybe this feeling has something to do with that, Deku said. No, not possible. Deku didn't know what he was talking about. Heroes kill villains all the time. And they never call motherverse or anything like that. Koski arrived at his home. Oh, you're back. You brought me iced? See, this is why I love you. Wait, I didn't mean it like that. Don't back away. Come back. Come back. I'm sorry. I'm just glad you brought me iced coffee. I was only expecting you to bring me hot. I should have specified. But I guess you know me too well. Alright, don't throw that at me. I'll continue. I'm sorry. I'm finna start again. Shiver me timbers. Koski arrived at his home, absolutely going through the motions of his after-school routine. He took out his shoes at the door, climbing the stairs to the second floor of his home, entering his bedroom. Then, he completed his homework, did a few extra bits of hand to wrist strengthening exercises. His work put a lot of pressure on his wrist, so he needed to make sure that the muscles stayed strong enough to take the pressure. After that, he took a shower and went back downstairs. He looked at the clock. It was quite time to start cooking dinner yet. His parents had a meeting tonight, so they would be home a little late. He could afford to watch a little TV before he started cooking. Koski sat on the couch in front of his family flat TV. He turned it on and flipped through the channels. He stopped on a channel that had been playing an old All-Might cartoon he hadn't seen in years. He remembered that when he was a kid, he watched his cartoons with a guilty pleasure of his. He's never allowed anyone to find out he watched cartoons. That was something that kids did, and he wasn't a kid. He was going to be the next number one hero. He didn't have time to waste on constantly watching TV like many of his other classrooms. He bet that that's what Deku did. Koski was surprised that Deku was able to stay as skinny as he did with that type of habit. His other classmates were a little softer looking while Deku looked nearly like a stick. As the cartoon played, Koski became more relaxed. He smiled in victory as All Might defeated the number one bad guy after another. Then he began to battle that episode's mastermind. All Might was on one side of the road while the villain was on the other. They had just started after coming to blows. Around this time in the episode where the mastermind started the monologue and All Might said something to teach the interviewers about something educational. But Koski never listened to that part of the show. Once All Might defeated the villain, Koski would laugh and cheer at the hero's victory, missing the lesson altogether. It was the climax of the episode. All Might was about to unleash one of the long-range attacks as a villain. Awesome phone held in her hand, walking around the corner of the building and straight into the ongoing battle. The two sets of eyes started to look at the unaware passerby. They lunged. The villain snatched the civilian first. The civilian screamed, startled. The villain laughed. Well, now, All Might, you can attack me that I have a hostage. The villain smirked in the apparent victory. Now choose. Either they die or you die. Koski freezed at the villain's words. Deku's words echoed in his head. You were personally stalked and murdered a civilian? Usually, whether he was watching these cartoons or not, he had not a problem imagining himself in All Might's shoes. But now, all he could see was his face on the villain's body. Koski lunged for the remote he had thrown across the sofa and shut off the TV. He didn't want to watch that. It was so hard to imagine how it would end anyway. Koski looked at the clock and figured it was time to start cooking. He was sure his children would be home soon, and if they weren't, then they would be home soon if they wanted a warm meal. Koski had finished tossing some vegetables and light sauce in which when his parents walked through the front door. They removed their shoes and met him into the dining room. He was pushing out the food onto their plates. Thanks, brat, his mother, Mitsuki, said while sitting down and started to eat. His father, Masaru, echoed Mitsuki's sentiment. Koski said nothing in response. He sat down and began to eat. Mitsuki and Masaru looked at each other. Koski was acting weird. He always had some sort of contact come back when Mitsuki called him brat, usually by calling her hag. It was their thing. As they were about to finish the meal, Mitsuki finally spoke up. What's with the attitude, brat? What fucking attitude, hag? Koski yelled. Hey, don't touch your mother like that. She's just concerned. You're not acting like yourself. Masaru replied. Koski growled at his parents, finished eating, but dishes in the sink and left the room. He cooked. He wasn't fucking cleaning. As he ascended the stairs, he heard his mom sigh. What's his problem? He's a teenager, Mitsuki. Let's just give him some space. He'll come to us when he's ready. So that's the ending of Chapter Spits of Someone Like You by Sparky Pastor. Hope you had a good time listening to my video. Bye bye!